Ba da 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 da. Do do do. Do 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 do. I know. I don't have much time until 8,000 people jump onto the video. Although not 8,000, because I'm not that popular anymore. There was a time when I could do that. Now my channel's slowly dying. Play sad trombone music. Okay, let me just quickly grab... I think we were doing 2015. Here we are. Here we are. I've got music. Okay, so we've got music, we've got game development stuff, and we've got a spooked Vooper. Spooked Voopers are the greatest. Does it put me under a game category? Because I'm under gaming, technically. I guess this should be classified under, education, I guess? I don't know. YouTube tags don't even matter. It's not like YouTube cares about the platform. Okay, let's, get started. Last time. This is going to be live on Twitch. If I could legally stream to YouTube and Twitch at the same time, I would. I wonder if Twitch actually has a section for game development, I'd do it there. I wonder if they actually have a, what's that? Let's go into the Twitch creator dashboard. Game development. Programming. I mean, there's basic programming. Development. Under development. No, nothing really great on Twitch for this either. I mean, honestly, I prefer to stream on Twitch because it's like building a second audience. No, I know Restream exists, it's just Twitch has a contract if you're a Twitch affiliate where you're not allowed to stream things to Twitch and other places at the same time. It's super anti-creator, it's super stupid, but Twitch has it and there's no getting around their contract. It's okay though, I'm not going to pout. I'm not going to pout, I'm going to make this game. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna hit play and I'm gonna show you guys where we are right now. So with our Aaron's working on the textures, I think we're gonna swap grass out because to me it looks a little bit too blobby. But we've got our cartoony sand, we've got our water, and if we zoom out and go to the player in general, we can see all the land around us. Wow. We can go around, we can explore. It's all very exciting stuff. The main idea being that random terrain generation is functional, and it's working pretty well. And it's not laggy either. Because, I mean, we're only dealing with 9 chunks, so if it was laggy, I'd be really concerned. Although it does a lot of work on those 9 chunks. And I did add some shading to the sand as well. It gets brighter towards the edge of the beach. I mean, it's really small changes I've been making lately. Let's see how things look when we go down to 0. Wow, that didn't throw an error. That was nice that we could just teleport over. Because over at 0, the temperature is really warm because it's the equator. Let's see what the grass looks like, I'm curious. Just bring me to the left a little bit. Oh yeah, look at that. The grass is very unhealthy looking. Very reddish. Still doesn't look terrible though. But I think the grass textures are going to change anyway, so I'm not gonna bother worrying about that. But what we're gonna do today is we're gonna start adding basic gameplay elements, because now that we have trees, this player should be able to cut down trees. So, let's go ahead, go over to the player. The player doesn't exist because he is a prefab. There we go. Go over to the player, here's the player, and let's give him a spot that's his hand. Create empty hand. And this hand is going to have to hold whatever items he has. Great. Fantastic. Right there. Looks great. And now we have to do a few things. We have to make an inventory so that we can like keep track of where things are on our character. Which means that we need to create a canvas system, and that canvas system needs to be somewhere. I guess we'll just do it here. So let's do a UI canvas, and this canvas basically means it goes in front of the screen. It's that secret layer that has all your UI, and we can call this the UI canvas. Great. I should be capital. There we go. So now that we've got our UI canvas, what we really need to do is just make a super simple inventory. Now, I kind of suck with UI, I'll be honest. All the anchoring and stuff is really easy to screw up in a major way, but I think that the best thing I can do is just try to make this as simple as possible. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into Photoshop, and I'm going to use my severely limited skills at art to make some sort of a spot where the inventory will be. Okay, ready? Let's go. Oh, you know what? You should do it in Photoshop. Yeah. You know, let's not even do any art. You know what? Let's just make it black colors. This isn't my job. This is Aaron's job. Aaron's the artist in chief. Okay, so let's get our raw image, and let's start setting up UI. So this is gonna be like the background, and it's gonna be down here. We can see on the camera screen here, this is what it's gonna look like in the game. On the bottom left, you're gonna have this bar. We'll make it like a non-black color so we can actually tell the difference. We'll make it gray, darkish gray. Nice. There's our inventory bar, so just call it inventory bar. I don't think I'm even gonna have a main inventory. I don't think you're gonna be able to carry that much in this game. Keep it a little bit realistic. And then we're gonna do, at the same time, UI, we're gonna do more raw images, and these actually have to be scaled properly, so we're gonna do like 0.8 by 0.8. Oh, look at that, that looks nice. And then these just have to be properly sorted out. So this needs to be like even here. This is when it starts to get a little bit challenging with UI, because you don't want it to look terrible. You know, that's even enough that no one would be able to tell if it wasn't even. And then we're gonna call this slot 1. Now, I'm not going to make any more slots. You know why I'm not going to make any more slots? I'm going to tell you why I'm not going to make any more slots. Because I just want to do all the work on one slot, get it perfect, and then copy it. So there's another thing we have to add. We have to add a button to this slot. And this button is really stupidly shaped. So we're going to... Oh boy. Okay, so this isn't gonna have any text. It's just gonna be a button, and it should be... Let's do 100 by 100. Great, and this is the part that you actually click to do anything. So now if we hit play, you'll see that we can actually press this. And when there's an actual item in there, it'll actually do anything when we press it. The other thing we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to make it so that when you click it, it doesn't move the character. This needs to be like a dead zone on the screen, which is If you click here and drag, it should still move the character, but like if you just click here, that's your inventory. It shouldn't do that. But that's like such a tiny nitpick. We're not going to worry about that right now. So we've got our slot, and then we've got inner slot, which is the actual part you interact with. So now we just have to make a script for two different scripts. So we're going to do some dual coding here, and we're going to make a new folder under player. We're going to call it inventory. Inventory. We can do it in French. Okay. Inventory. Yeah, we'll call it inventory. We're gonna make, actually, we're gonna do three things. We're gonna do inventory, we're gonna do player inventory, and we're gonna do free C# script inventory slot. Why inventory and player inventory? Well, because we're gonna have more than one inventory. So since we're going to have more than one inventory, because we'll have chests and stuff, we can make a lot of the code the same between player inventory and inventory. Let me close all of these things that we don't need. Let me open up player inventory and inventory slot, since that's what we're working on. And we're going to have inventory on the left, and we will have player inventory on the right to start. So every single inventory, so it's not going to be a mono behavior. There's no reason for it to... Oh, actually, yeah. Yeah, it should be. Okay. So public class inventory mono behavior. Now, the first thing every single inventory is going to need is a public... and that's going to be a public inventory slot. Slots. So every inventory has an array of inventory slots. Like every single inventory is going to have inventory slots. And then every single inventory should also have, we're actually going to make this, we can't make it abstract, can we? So that's going to be had by everything, because that's an important thing for an inventory to have. And then we're going to do public, and you guys may not be able to see very well, so let me zoom in a little bit to make it easier. I don't know how the YouTube resolution is. And so we're going to make a few virtual methods. We're going to do public virtual. Virtual just means it can be changed. Public virtual. We have to do another thing. We have to make another thing. We're going to do create C# script, and we're just going to call it item. We're not going to define it yet, but we're going to do public virtual item get item, and then int slot. Returns an item from a slot. So there's going to be get item. It's pretty obvious what it returns, so I don't need to do that. And then there's going to be a few other ones. There's going to be get item. There's going to be take item. And this returns an item from a slot and removes it from the slot. And then there's going to be set item. That's going to be set an item into a slot. And this is going to be public virtual void set item. And then it's going to be item int slot. Great, so these are the main things it's going to need, and then obviously it's going to need a default implementation. And we're just going to do if slot is less than slots.length, else debug.log try to get a slot outside of slot array, and then we'll give a little bit more information so that if I have to debug it, it'll be easier. Try to get make 0 max is 1, and then we give what 0 and 1 are. Slots dot length. Oh, look at that string formatting. Fantastic. I can do that, right? Oh. Can I not do that in a Unity debugger? Do I have to do new object? I thought it would have a way to give context. No? Okay. I wonder if they have debug.log log format. Ah! It's log format. Okay. Tried to get 0, max is 1, and then slot. And slots.length. So what this does is formatting in strings is like really nice, because instead of having to do tried to get plus slots, slot plus maxes plus this, I can say tried to get 0, max is 1, and then this goes to 0 because it's the first thing, and this goes to 1 because it's the second thing. And arrays start at 0, so it's not 2, it's 1. Okay, so that's nice, great. If there's an error, we'll know why. And then we do the same thing here. If slot is greater than 0, else try to get a slot with an index less than 0, which is impossible, so that would be bad. So if it's actually possible to get the item, it will return slots slot. Oh no, we're not returning. This is setting it. So slots slot equals item. And you know what? Since we're gonna have to do these checks a lot of time. Oh wait, no. Slots slot, and each slot needs to have the item. So we need to do public item item, and we have to do slot dot item equals item. There we go. And this is gonna have to be done for each of these. So let's actually make a helper method, and we'll do public virtual void within is slot. Does slot exist? And it's a method, so it should be capital. And then we'll do int slot. And so now what we can do is, we're actually going to change this a little bit. Does slot exist? Return false. We have to return after, or it'll never actually debug it. Return false. Return false. Return true. And this should be a public virtual bool. And now this is going to handle figuring out if a slot exists. Finds if a slot exists at the specified location. How are you doing? I am doing well. Oh, you're correct. It does need to be greater or equal to. You are correct. That was an oversight. Thank you. Okay. Great. I've got my crowdsourced bug fixers. Okay, so now what we can do is simplify this way down. Now we can do if does slot exist, slot, and I'm gonna do if not slot exist, return, just so that it's easier to do things in the future if I have to add more logic. Bam. So if it doesn't exist, it cancels, and if it does exist, it sets it. Make sure we don't break bounds. Set the item. Fantastic. We're gonna go. What is this game going to be called? Vooper.io or Vooperia or Vooperia or however that would actually be pronounced. I'm making it so that it can be put on a website. I've already bought the domain. The one thing that sucks about doing something for HTML is that you can't do multi-threading, so it's a little bit harder to get it performing well, which is why I'm doing a little 2D game rather than anything super impressive. So get item is going to be pretty similar here. If the slot doesn't exist, just return null. And if it does exist, then we do return slots slot dot item, and then take item is going to be very similar, except we're going to do one extra thing here. Oh, and you know what? We can do get item slot, so we can make take item depend on get item, so we can do item equals get item slot, and then we can do set item null slot. Oh, look at that, we're using our own code. And then we can do return item get the item from the slot, set the slot item to null, return the item we got. See, that's like, this is pretty darn simple, and I'm just gonna comment this out. Make sure we don't go over the array max. Make sure we don't go under the array min. Great, all commented and done. Now all we have to do is we have to go into the player inventory, and player inventory inherits from inventory. Whoa, and now we should actually be able to do slots dot. See, now because it inherits from inventory, it has everything inventory has. So I can actually call get item 1, and even though I didn't define get item here, it is an inventory. So it takes after all of this. So now every inventory can just define off of this. But we need a little bit more to happen here. So let's do a few things. First off, inventory slot obviously needs to actually be aware when something happens. So it's fine that we have this, but we're actually going to do public item, and then we're going to do get, and we're going to do set. So code's going to run when we get it and when we set it. So when we get it, we're just going to return item. But when we set it, we're going to run some code, and we're going to have public, thank you, Riot Paradox, for the $1. So we're going to do public void on change item. And then we'll do item, new item. Called when the item is changed. And we need another thing. We're gonna have... So this is getting pretty fancy. Now this inner slot, I think the button, we can actually has an image component, and it does. So what we're gonna do... What we're gonna do is we're actually going to make that image component switch to the image of the item. So 1 second. An item... We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna do public texture 2D image, or actually we'll make it a method because we may want it to do some fanciness. Public texture 2D get texture. I mean, this is going to have a lot more that I can do in the future. And then we're going to do return null for now, because this is just generic item. Returns the image of the item. See? Looking good. So now we have a get texture thing. So when we change the item, we're actually going to have our... We're going to have to do using Unity Engine.UI, because now we're using UI stuff. But we should be able to say public image slot image. We're going to go ahead and we're going to get this slot 1 here. And we're gonna plop the inventory slot script on it. Bam. You can see it has a slot image slot here. We're gonna make it the image from the button. Fantastic. And now we can do on change item. And let me just comment this. The image shown on the slot. The item held by the slot. And we're actually gonna have to do private item underscore item internal item storage. This actually has to return underscore item, because otherwise it'll loop and just keep going back to itself over and over and over again. And then set, we do on change item. What is it called? Value? Yes. Run code for item change. On change item value, and then we also have to do actually store the item, and then we do underscore item equals value. Fantastic. And now when we on change item, we can do slot image dot text main texture equals new item dot get texture. Wow. It's read only. Okay, set texture dot image dot there's something here for us to do it. There's got to be a way to set it through code. slot image dot. Oh, come on. There's something. Do we have to do dot sprite? Okay, we may have to use a sprite here instead. Okay, so we'll use a sprite. So instead of doing item get texture, we'll do public sprite. Get sprite. We'll do returns the sprite of the item. It's fine, barely even a change. Inventory slot, and now we can do that get sprite. So let's look over what's gonna happen. When we set the item, it's going to secretly run on change item value, and when that happens, it's going to change the picture. Fantastic. Okay, so let's go over to item. Item's going to need a few more things. We're going to need a public string get item name, so that when you hover over the item or something, it'll show the name. Returns the name of the item. And it's going to be a public virtual string get item name, and this is going to be a public virtual sprite get sprite. Virtual means that I can override it in the future. This will be return null item. Great. And we're going to make a few more things. Public virtual void on player use, and this is going to be ran when the player hits use, and then we'll be able to make it so that specific items do different things when the player hits use. Okay, so jumping back over to... I mean, we also need to do a few other effects. The player inventory is going to be special, because the player inventory also has to keep track of what's currently in your mouse. Can you make a downloadable version? Yeah, I mean, the HTML version could be downloaded. It doesn't really make a difference. I mean, if I build and run it, it makes both an exe and a browser version. But the browser version is literally just like a browser. One second, let me show you. If I do file build and run, it'll take a moment. But you'll see, it literally, you'll just have to go onto a website. Will it be free? Yes, this one will. This is gonna be my free ad-ridden game. Probably not that many ads. I think I'm gonna add hats you can buy, though, that are just cosmetic. You know, maybe there'll be like a cowboy hat, a wizard hat, one of those hats with a little thing that spins on it, you know? Good stuff. Good stuff. So let's give this a moment to build. How are you guys doing? When can I play this? I don't know. I mean, I could upload it at any point to be playable, but There's no reason to until you can actually play. The game literally has no gameplay right now, so it's not like it's fun. I do want to add multiplayer, though. That's my big thing. I want this to be a multiplayer 2D game on the browser. So like a Gario, but survival. But the same, like, server system as a Gario, you know? But big servers, like 100 people able to survive on this big world together. Where did you learn to code? I learned to code from the internet. I'm assuming I'll get better at it because I'm going to be going to college soon, but for the most part, just the internet and time. And practice. You know, the more you try to do something, even if you have no clue what you're doing, you'll get better at it. I started by modding Minecraft, and I had absolutely no clue what I was doing. I broke the game so many times, but eventually I figured out that doing certain things did other things. That's the best I can describe it as. Isn't Gario already survival? I want to call it Gario survival. What are you learning in college? I'm gonna be learning computer science, so basically what I'm doing right now. What happened to Software Inc. Season 2? It fizzled out. But I really do like Software Inc., so I'm gonna try to do one a week. Unfortunately, my channel is kind of in a free fall right now. I don't know how many of you guys would hate it, but I'm thinking about swiveling my channel over to be more game development than gaming. I really do enjoy working on things like this. And I mean, then I have a product and I have, you know, the actual game itself. I don't know, I really enjoy it. But I know a lot of people like watching me game, and that's why you're here, so it's a tough one. When I go in Vooperia.io, it says it is GoDaddy Park. Well, yeah, because I bought the domain through GoDaddy. I haven't put anything there, though. So here it is. This is what it would look like if you were, if you opened up the website. You'd have this, you can maximize it, and then you're just able to... Oh, that doesn't move. See? Like I said, it's very, very challenging doing UI. So that's definitely something I have to look into, making the UI work there. But you'd just go on and be faced by this game. It takes literally no effort. It's gonna all be able to be played using a mouse. That's my goal. I want it to be so simple you don't even need a keyboard. Left click is to move, right click will be to react with the environment, to use your tool, and then scrolling will select the tool. And that way, when I port it to mobile, it'll literally be you tap the screen where you want to go, there will be a button, you click when you want to use your tool, and then you'll just click on the inventory what you want to select. Wow, I am really in the middle of the ocean. Let's get moving a little bit out of the ocean. Come on. Come on, ocean. It's so slow going through the ocean. Will we find anything? Will we find anything? I'm gonna add boats. That's one thing I want to add. Maybe like build-a-boat boats, where you like can build big, nice boats. That'd be kind of neat. We're not finding anything. I'm gonna give it another 10 seconds. Now that water there, I actually programmed. That's my shader code, which makes it do that coolness. It's actually not a texture. It's procedurally generated. So the water is actually completely made from code. The screen is kind of bugging a little bit. I don't know why it's doing that. Hey, wait a second! Wait a second, is that what I think it is? Is that land? It's close. Come on. The altitude. Oh, so close. It's gotta be, there's gotta be some land, because when the water gets light, that means the altitude isn't at ocean altitude anymore. Yes! We found land! We can start our new society on this little sandy island. In this single piece of grass. Oh, come on. We've done it! We found an island. Is there any trees? Could we survive? Oh god. No trees. That's rough. Oh, there's a tree! There we go. This is totally survivable. This is my new favorite island. Yeah, the water is like really chill. Like, I like it. It looks kind of cartoony, and also it like completely freaks out your eyes if you just stare at it for like 20 minutes. Like, if you stare at a wall after staring at it for like 30 seconds, your vision will keep swaying. It's weird. What's that? You have to focus your eyes on the character for like 30 seconds. And then when you look at something else, it'll look like it's moving a little bit. It's pretty good. It's pretty neat. Okay, so, we have to make this scale with the screen size, which is always painful. So let's go back to the game, find this, and let's anchor it. So anchoring isn't fun, but we just grab this anchor here and we do this. Bam. And now it should... Oh, but we have to get the actual UI canvas itself and add a canvas scaler. And so it needs to scale with screens. Oh, see what that did? Do you see what that did to my beautiful, beautiful thing there? It completely murdered it. 1920 by 1080 is my... Okay, so that's not terrible. So it's gonna scale with the width because that's more likely to change than height. We'll just move this... Oh, nope, that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to move the entire slot. And like, another dumb thing, these are gonna be anchored to that, but that's fine, that's fine. Let's see if that, actually, well, let's see what it looks like in a few other things. So let's switch this to a 5.4. That doesn't look too bad. 3.2, that doesn't look too bad. That doesn't look terrible. Great aspect. Let's see if I squish the screen. Like, no, it's not great, but it's not like end of the world bad. I'll get it working at some point. So back to 16:9, which is the most used resolution format. So this is actually getting very close to what we need. So player inventory. We need to keep track of a few things. So there's going to be public item in hand, because you're oh no, item in cursor. And then there's going to be public item in hand, which is the one that the players actually has selected. And then obviously we're going to need to override a few things. We're gonna have public slot inventory slot, or public selected slot. I can spell. And we're gonna do void, or public void initialize inventory. Actually, no, I'm not gonna have to do that because that's all gonna be done by hand. So let's go ahead, go over here, grab this slot. And let's make slot 1. We will go, oh shoot. See, this is what sucks. So this is at negative 295, so we'll do that plus 100. Great, and then we'll just keep doing plus 100. Slot 2. Slot 3. And again, we'll add, we're gonna add plus 200. How many slots are we gonna have? I have no clue. Slot 4. The amount of slots the player has is really going to I do not trust that super chat, so be careful. I would not listen. Plus 300. Slot 5. It's Windows XP error. Plus 500. Oh, no. Plus 400. Okay, guys. We've almost got all of our slots done. And then slot 6. Plus 500. Oh. Plus 100 again. I think 6 slots is actually probably good, but we'll do 7. Slot 7. So that's everything you're gonna be able to carry. And now the inventory bar is just gonna be scaled up a little bit. Actually, I'll keep it scaled about the same. I'll just move all the slots to be a little bit more centered. Okay, so we'll do that. Minus. Okay, well, never mind. R/ there was an attempt. Let's use the old-fashioned way of doing it. Even enough to me. There we go, we've got our slots. And now on the inventory bar, we're gonna drag over inventory. Actually, we're gonna drag over player inventory. And now here we have slots. We have 7 slots, and we're gonna drag them all over. Slot 1, slot 2, slot 3, slot 4, slot 5, slot 6, slot 7. Nice. So now our inventory has slots. Great. And we can actually, oh, I forgot to do something. That's gonna be bad. That is definitely not good. Okay, that's not good. That's gonna be a lot of work. Because slot has another thing, and it's gonna have public void on slot clicked. Thank you for another €2, Marcus, but I'm not going to kill the ears of my viewers. I do appreciate the super chat, though. So we're gonna do on slot clicked when this slot is clicked, and on slot clicked. We actually have to let the inventory know, and there's a few other things we need. The inventory is going to have to initialize at some point. And there's going to be public void initialize inventory. And when it does that, and the inventory, every slot is going to have to know what number slot it is. Public int slot, we'll call it index. The index of this slot, but it's not going to know what its slot index is unless its inventory tells it. So we're gonna have to go for and I equals 0, I is less than slots, I plus plus. We're gonna have to do, it's gonna be slots dot length actually. We're gonna do slots I dot index equals I. So we set its index, set the indices of our slots, and the slots are going to have to know who their inventory is as well. Public inventory. The inventory this slot belongs to. So in inventory, we're gonna have to also do slots I dot inventory equals this. Now when the slot is clicked, we can do inventory dot, not capital, inventory dot, and we'll have to do another thing, which will be public virtual void on slot clicked index. Ran when a slot in the inventory is clicked. And so when the slot is clicked, it'll do inventory dot on slot clicked. It'll send in its index. That seems like a lot of work, and it is a lot of work. The inventory is going to initialize itself, actually. We'll do public void awake run when the object is built, and when it wakes up, it'll initialize itself. Great, initialize inventory, that'll be all set. And now down here on slot clicked, when the slot is clicked, this is going to depend on what kind of inventory it is, but by default, when it's clicked, we're going to need a very special way to do this, actually, because we have to be aware of this isn't actually going to keep track of the item in cursor, because everyone needs to know what item is in the cursor. So we're actually going to make public static. Static means that everything can find it. So public static item in hand. So what static does is, instead of needing a copy of an inventory, I can do inventory in general, if I can spell. Well, I'll show you in a second. And this is going to be item in cursor. The item in the cursor. So instead of needing to have a specific inventory now, like for example, if I have inventory inv, I can do inv dot on slot clicked and stuff, because this is a specific inventory. but every single inventory is going to be able to do inventory dot item and cursor, because they all need to be able to know what this is. So onslaught clicked index if item in cursor equals null. If there is no item in the cursor. Else, if there is an item in the cursor. And then we need a few more things. Public static, because everything should be able to do it. Public static void, or actually we'll do public static item, take cursor item, or we'll do set cursor item. I'll need item sets the item of the cursor. We'll also need a public static void. This is going to be void actually. Public static item take cursor item. Or get cursor item, and that's just gonna return inventory dot item and cursor. And then we're gonna have to do public static item take cursor item. And this just does inventory dot item and cursor equals null. I'm not going to allow you to directly change this actually. This is going to be a private static. Okay, so we've got set cursor item, get cursor item, and take cursor item. And take cursor item is just going to do get cursor item. Item equals get cursor item. Set cursor item to null. And return item. This seems really similar to what we did before, but it's special because the cursor is special. Returns the item in the cursor. Returns and removes the item in the cursor. Okay, so when the cursor item is set, we have to do some special stuff here. Unity set cursor to sprite. Sets the mouse cursor to the given texture. So we could do that, or I'd prefer to actually make a game object that follows the cursor around, because then we can have it say the amount of item and stuff. So that is probably what I'm going to do. And that'll actually be much more useful. But we have been live for about an hour now, so I think we're gonna take a break. It's been a lot of code. Thankfully, because the code doesn't actually do anything yet, we can do this without the game being broken. We can actually continue playing the game. Oh, this is kind of broken, isn't it? Hello? Come back to me. 16 deny aspect ratio. Why can I only see 5? This UI canvas is... My camera is kind of... Oh, because it's zoomed in. There we go. Okay. It's zoomed. Okay, so if we go ahead and look at what we've done, I mean, nothing noticeable is done, but we have gotten closer to having an inventory system, and an inventory system is going to be necessary to make the game playable, so... Yeah, we haven't gotten any visible progress, but under the hood, a lot of things are being set up, and soon, when you click here, you'll be able to take an item out, put an item in, and all of those fun things, and then we can set up being able to, like, build and cut down trees and that sort of thing. That all will soon be possible. So thank you all for watching. We can, I don't know, walk around a little bit, enjoy. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start, first off, if you're watching and you aren't currently in my Discord, I'm going to be posting builds there. So if you do discord.gg/spookvooper, you can join my Discord. I'm going to post updates and links and stuff there. But right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on DigitalOcean. Yo, it's called Digital Dust. Oh, it went down? That would be sad. Come on. Oh. That's a website I forgot the name of forever ago. Okay, so DigitalOcean. I'm going to spin up a very quick server to host the game, and then you guys will be able to go over and play it. So thank you all for watching. Leave a like and subscribe, and watch out for more streams, because I'm going to be doing these basically daily now, along with my gaming stream, which is going to be on Twitch. I expect all of you to join SpookVooper and find bugs for me. Bye! And we are dead.